Hello boys and girls, and welcome to this quick and dirty video. Today I want to get creative with you because remember, music production should be something creative. I know it can be frustrating at times and it's a lot of work, but it should be fun and it should be creative. This means from time to time you should try something new. And what I want to show you today, I want to inspire you today to abuse your plugins. Right. I want you to use your plugins in a way they are not intended to be used. Was that correct English? If not, I don't care because I'm being creative. Let's go. So these days, we all know people are using the same tools everywhere, especially the same plugins. And to make it even worse, people are using the same plugins on the same sources. And to make it even worse, there are a lot of plugins that are very specialized, that are tailored for a certain task, for a certain instrument. We have compressors just for drums or just for snares, and compressors for vocals and for guitars. We have a lot of plugins that are really intended to be used on a certain source, and they are intended to only do one thing. And most of the time, those plugins are also very easy to dial in. Don't get me wrong, that's a cool thing because a lot of those plugins actually sound really cool. I'm about to show you one plugin that I love. But, you know, it's dangerous at the same time because it also shifts us more and more into this preset world, you know, where other people pre-cook our meals and we just put them in the microwave instead of, you know, cooking something ourselves. So there are a lot of signature plugins out there. There are some one-knob plugins out there. There are a lot of plugins out there that are very simple and very easy to use because there's a lot of intelligence going on in the background. And if you are a beginner, I can just strongly recommend that you learn how to dial in a compressor properly or an EQ and not just rely on using any signature or one knob plugins and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, they can sound cool, but first of all, you're not learning much and it's getting a little boring because everybody will use that drum compressor on drums. You know, so you might sound like everybody else. So I've been using quite a few plugins in a way, yeah, they're not intended to be used. And most of the time, I came up with that idea when I was desperate. You know, when I had a bad sounding track and I couldn't fix it with the usual tools, with the usual medicine. So, you know, out of pure desperation, I tried something else because I really had to mangle that track and found out, oh wow, this actually works. And it might even work better on that source than on what it's intended to be used, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, try stuff, try experiments, you know, try if it says vocal, that doesn't mean you can't use it on a kick drum, you know? So that's what I'm going to do today. I actually found quite a few plugins. I'm going to show you one today because this video is very spontaneous. I haven't rehearsed anything. And you asked me to do spontaneous videos. So this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you one of those plugins. I'm going to use the CLA Chris Lord LG bass plugin that is intended to be used on a bass guitar where, by the way, it sounds great. I use it. I'm also going to show you how I use it on a bass guitar, but I'm going to use it on a kick drum because there was this moment when I had to fix this really bad and dull and kind of wrong sounding kick drum that wasn't sounding metal at all. And again, out of pure desperation, I stumbled over the CLA bass plugin and it kind of worked. By the way, I'm not talking about the drum samples that you might use, like the Toontrack pre-processed drum samples that already sound great, or the Get Good drum stuff, or whatever you might use. I'm talking about an acoustic kick drum, a real mic inside of a kick drum. Have you ever done that? If not, try it. It's fun. But let's move over into Cubase and let me show you how I use that plugin. So here we are in Cubase and I have prepared a little session here. This is a song you all know. This is the GRINDSTEIN song. Enjoy. And I took those tracks from my high gain guitar tone crafting course. If you want to learn something about creating cool guitar tones, check out that course. There's a link below. And I just added some IRs and mixed this quickly. And we want to concentrate on the bass because it sounds nice and dangle. It sounds like this, soloed. This is our main bass track, and then I've added another sub bass track, which sounds like this, soloed. A little more oomph. Let's do that. Let's blend that one. That's a lot of fun. But the important part is the main bass track here, which again sounds really nice and has a lot of dangle, which means clank, you know, that upper mid distortion that we all like about metal basses. And let's have a listen to the DI. So we got a compressor here, which is not really doing a lot, and two more plugins. But the two main plugins are the CLA Bass plugin here. Let's have a look at it. And the Dark Glass, whatever it is called, the pedal. And I use them in combination, and I use the CLA as a pre-shaping tool for the Dark Glass pedal. You can see here I've added some highs, I've added some compression, I've added some harmonics to the bass and some distortion as well. And let's just turn off the CLA and just listen to the Dark Glass. DI. Dark Glass. And now add the CLA. And here we go. Just makes the bass sound so much more evil. You should get that plugin. It's great for that. And I guess that is how it's supposed to be used. By the way, I will actually show you later in this video how it works. We're going to have a look at these parameters in Plugin Doctor, which is a cool software, by the way, to analyze your VST plugins. I just had another idea. If we're talking about abusing plugins that are intended for something else, I've got another one. And I use this one whenever I have a bass track that needs some more dangle. You know, some more upper mid bite, some more clank. Whenever you need that, and you can't get it with the usual tools. That is very often the case when I get DI tracks, bass DI tracks from other people, from bands, and I have to mix them, and they sound way too dull. I will pre-shape them not only with the CLA, but also with another plugin that is actually designed to be used on drums. Let me just bring it up. It's this one. It's called DF-Xcite, that one. So it is from Drumforge, and it's an exciter. It's a multi-band exciter from what I understand, and it's made for drums. So you got some presets like rock kick, indie kick, metal kick, and so on. And you've got 4 bands, and you can distort those bands and add the amount of overtones you want. It's a pretty nasty sounding plugin, so I wouldn't use it on a full mix or something. But it works great if you have certain frequency areas, certain ranges that need to be boosted. Let's just try it on this track. It's not really needed here, but I'm pretty sure we can make this bass dangle like no other with this. So let's solo it. So here we add the distortion, the amount of distortion, and here we can mix the overtones. And you can actually, you have 2 presets here. This one sounds more like it's like a second order harmonics, even order harmonics. And those ones are they called third order harmonics? I don't know. They sound more nasty. So we're going to use that. Let's have a listen to the mix. Dangle like there's no tomorrow, right? And you can switch between those presets here. I think all that's happening is that the crossovers between the different bands are being changed. Anyway, it works with pretty much any preset here, and it's a nasty little trick to make your bass stand out. Anyway, there are links to both plugins in the description. So you should really get the CLA Bass plugin because it's a quite versatile pre-shaping tool. And as I'm about to show you, you can also use it on kick drums. And yeah, the exciter from the multi-band exciter, DF-Xcite from Drumforge, is pretty nice too. But what we're gonna do now is, before we move on to the next session, which is a drum session, we're gonna analyze this lovely plugin, the CLA Bass plugin, to understand what's happening when we tweak the knobs. And what we use for this is Plugin Doctor. And here you can see the frequency response when you insert the plugin without anything being engaged. Everything's bypassed. And what can we see? So there's a healthy boost around, whatever, 60 hertz or something. And another one up here close to 2K. Interesting, right? So even if you're not doing anything, there's already something going on. So your bass is being pre-shaped into the right direction. But you know, this also looks like something that might be cool on a kick drum, right? So, you know, a little low-end boost and a little here in the attack range of a kick drum. So this is an EQ. You see, I can boost the same frequency. I can boost the frequency that is slightly higher. And now something interesting, if you switch this to upper, it actually moves somewhere else here to somewhere around, let's say, 450 hertz. A frequency that is, as you all know, the enemy of everything metal. Don't forget that. 500 hertz, we don't like that. And we can also cut this frequency like this. And this is something that can be really useful on all kinds of drums. On kick drums, on snares, and on toms. So interesting, interesting. What else have we got? Well, here we got a very healthy boost of the high end. You know, looks a little bit like a Pultec or something. A peak filter. Like this, it's slightly deeper. And like this, it's a lot deeper, but also wider. Interesting. Then we have the compression. And another parameter I want to show you is this one, the sub parameter. I have to move the plugin here. So this is really fancy. Look at this. Wow. Also, the phase response looks quite weird. There's a boost. The boost we already have is getting even bigger. Then we have a certain cut here and another boost. Whatever. If we boost this, we get a lot more bass. But, you know, this feature, the sub, isn't an equalizer like we have on this side. You know, this is just an equalizer. Because if we have a look at the harmonics, and this is a sinus wave at 100 hertz, we can see that if we add this, look at this. We are adding a lot of overtones everywhere, you know. Here, 100, 200. Let me turn that one off. Wow. Almost as much as the growl feature here. So the sub seems to be doing something else. It's more like an harmonics generator, whereas this sub here is simply an EQ, okay? And this is adding harmonics. I guess there's something like R bass or max bass working in the background of this plugin. Interesting. So we can add harmonics to our low end, which again is something that is cool for kick drums. We can EQ them, the lows and the highs, and we can even cut the 500, where is it? The 500 range. And we can add some compression. So let's open up another session and let's see why this works so well on kick mics. Here we go. So back in Cubase, and this is a drum session from a band called Canto, German a cappella metal band. Check them out if you. I'm gonna put a link down there. I recorded the drums for their last album. Anyway, this is not from their session. I just asked the drummer to play some random grooves for me during the sound check or something. And he's, by the way, a great drummer. So this is totally rough also. Just overheads and snare track. What do we have? Overhead, snare track, one kick track. Not even the room. Sounds like this. Let's add the room. The room is already compressed. Not important for now, because I just want to talk about the kick drum. Let's have a listen to the kick mic. It sounds like this. There's already some processing going on, so I got this. A little, filter at 27, high pass filter. And I got the bleeder, which is really helpful to get rid of the bleed. Listen. Get the bleeder. Good plugin. Yeah, I'll put links to all the plugins below. CLA and Drumforge, blah, blah, you get links. So that's the processing I have. So basically nothing. So now let's pre-shape that kick drum. Let's see what we can do with CLA Bass. Let's load the plugin. Here we go. And let's turn off everything. And let's just see what happens. So this is bypassed. And now, it sounds like it's detuning the kick drum, right? It's making the kick drum sound deeper. Tick, tick, tuk, tuk. You know what I mean? Isn't that cool? It is. We know there's an EQ and there's also some harmonics. So just by opening up this plugin, the kick drum already sounds better. Lovely. Okay, so what have we learned? What can we do? We can add some low end like this. We're not actually adding low end with this, we're adding harmonics of the low end, which is a very smart thing because the kick feels to be thicker sounding, but we're not adding too much real low end, too much energy to the bass. Let's add some attack and some highs. And those two frequencies seem to work pretty well. The bark sounds a little more rock and roll and the cut sounds more metal. Let's go for bark now. And now let's see what we can do with the low band of the EQ. So we can either add some real low end. And that's a difference, right? But even more interesting, like we have seen in Plugin Doctor, if we go to upper, the filter moves to something like 450, so we can carve out those woody card box-ish sounding frequencies. Let's do that. Just makes the kick sound cleaner, right? So by doing this very quickly, we have pre-shaped the kick drum from this to this. So more mix ready, more in your face, thicker, more low end, more attack, more everything. Maybe you want to also add some compression. It kind of works. It sucks out a little bit too much for my taste. So here I prefer maybe a dedicated compressor where I can fine tune the attack and the release. But if you have nothing else, it works. Let's have a listen in the mix. And that's just so much better, once again, right? With just a few clicks, with a plugin that is intended for a bass guitar. But the story I'm telling you today is, I mean, you might not like this, or you might not want to use that plugin, but what I'm telling you today is that I want you to experiment with those plugins. There are a million things that I haven't found that you can find out. You know, you might use a vocal compressor on a kick drum and it might sound great. Or you might use whatever, guitar distortion on vocals. You remember me doing this with this one? I think we did that like 3 weeks ago. You know, that's what I do all the time. There are many examples like this. And I don't know in which camera I should look anymore. Where do I look more sexy? I don't know. Let me see. Here? Here? I think I prefer this one, but the mic is here right now. Okay, but I'm pretty much done anyway. So, there are some links in the description leading you to all those plugins if you want to have fun with them. There are also many other links. I want you to subscribe to this channel and to subscribe to my email list, because if you get my email list, you can also come to my Discord server where you meet a lot of very cool people who talk about music production and metal and guitars and beer and all that stuff that is fun in life. What else? Leave a comment, please, and let me know how you like this very spontaneous video and if you want more of this. If there are plugins you want me to check out, let me know. If there's other gear you want me to check out, let me know. I will do another vocal video very soon with some extremely expensive tube microphones. So that will be a luxury edition of Kohle Studio video. What else? I will be doing another speaker video soon. And what else? I don't know. You let me know what you want to see, right? You let me know what you want to see. That's all for today, boys and girls. I want you to get creative. Tell me which plugins you are abusing, which gear you are abusing. I'm sure you have even better ideas than, you know, the bald German guy. So, see you in hell, my friends. See you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.